Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good to see you. Who's new here? First time? Let's go. Me too. I like it. I want to encourage you with something. If you're new to this event, you need to network. My talk's going to be my talk. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. Network. There are like amazing, my slides up. Hold on one second. There are amazing, amazing people in the house right now. Amazing people. So I want to encourage you and inspire you today to network, get out of your box, get out of your comfort zone, meet some people. A lot of the organizations we work with in this city are right in this room here today, and I'm just telling you right now, they're phenomenal. So make sure you network after this talk. So I'm Officer Bloom from Modesto, California, as he said, and it's an honor to be here with you this morning. My passion is people, and my passion is to call the purpose out of people. I think every single person in our society, especially Fargo-Moorhead, I'm being real with you right now. I'm a little ushy-gushy. You're just going to have to deal with it. I might hug you after this talk. But every person was created with a purpose on purpose in this place. But the problem is we're so afraid to step out in that purpose because of what we might look like, what we might feel like, what others might say. Trust me, being a Caucasian police officer that wraps in uniform is not the most orthodox thing to do. But we do it because I do it because it's part of my purpose. My purpose is to reach people. My purpose is to reach kids. And all I want to do is use my purpose to do that. And I hope after this talk today, you walk out with one thing. Oh, I got some purpose and I need to start using it. It's time to stop sitting on your purpose and it's time to start stepping into your purpose. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal of today. That's why we should be here. We should be trying to make ourselves better, trying to make ourselves more alive, and trying to make ourselves more well-equipped to help our community and help our city. When I began my role as a CTO, I didn't know really what was going to go down, to be honest. I was a beat cop, and a beat cop is when you call 911 and Officer Bloom shows up to hopefully solve your problem or call someone else who knows how to solve your problem. That's really what cops do. We just try to solve the problem in the moment. But I realized in my life I wanted more. I wanted more. And in my moment, I didn't know what that more looked like. I didn't know what that more was, but I just knew I wanted more. And so I was thinking and I was getting inspired, and then this position opens up. It was called Community Trust Officer. It came from the Department of Justice through the Obama administration. I was like, I'm going to jump on that, man. The position was basically like this. We're going to take you off patrol, and we're going to put you in the community full-time to do outreach with people. And so I was like, okay, I want to jump into this more. And I want to tell you something. More is not looking outside of your city. It's looking within your city. And more is not looking outside yourself. It's looking within yourself. See, a lot of times we're looking to find greener grass when really we should just be watering right where we're walking, because there's a lot of brown spots. You know what I'm saying? In this community, man, I know there's needs all over this nation. I've been on inner city missions trips. I've been in places where there's great poverty, but I'm telling you, Fargo has a need, and that need can only be solved by the people of Fargo. And so I was like, man, I want to be inspired. I want to start watering where I'm walking. I want to start watering where I'm working. And I want to tell you today, man, you need to start watering now. You need to be inspired now. You need to start living now with that purpose that's inside of you. It's not fake. This idea of your purpose is not fake. And I'm going to touch on this a little later because I'm going to highlight some people I've already seen in this place. That purpose, live in that purpose. And you got to step into that. The hard thing about more, and I just want to say this because I think it's true, is a lot of us don't step into more because it comes at a cost. See, there's a price with more. And it always comes with a cost. The word justice, they're like, can you speak on justice? And I was like, sure, I can speak on anything, I guess. But something I've learned as a speaker at times is I never want to talk about something I don't really know about. So I said, how can I tie justice into something I'm passionate about and something I'm concerned with? And I thought about all the kids that we work with in our city that has no one fighting for them. See, all the kids in our city that have no one fighting for them, that started to burden me. And as a community trust officer, that's kind of where we started. We started looking, okay, where's the problem? How can we start being the solution? Where's the problem? How can we start being an answer to the problem? And so we started going to the local elementary schools. And we said, okay, I want your list. We want your list of free and reduced lunch. We want the list. We want to find the greatest list of those students who are on free and reduced lunch programs. After that, we want to find the greatest list of youth who are new American in our community that might have had bad influences or bad encounters with law enforcement in the countries they came from. And we want to connect with them. We want to engage them. We want to love them. We want to serve them. We want to support them. And that's what we started doing. We started going into these schools, and we started innovating and creating, and we started thinking up ideas, and we started loving kids, but it came with a cost. Because where there's a problem, there's also often no quick solution. That's often another thing that stops us. I would get phone calls while I'm at weddings. Officer Bloom, the boys you're working with, are you working with this boy and that boy? Yeah, I am. Yeah, they just committed an armed robbery. I was like, oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. Let me think about it. Let me get on this. Hey, Officer Bloom, are you working with this kid and that kid? You want to give me a new mic? Yeah, for sure. Check, cool. Just make lemonade when you got some lemons, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, we're just tripping, right? We're just rolling. We're like, we see all these problems, and they're coming with a cost. They're coming with our time. They're coming with visits to the detention center time after time. They're coming with the same kids time after time. And it reverts back, and we revert back. But we realize that even though there's a cost, the cost is worth it. The cost is worth it because a lot of these kids have never had value in their life. They've never had love in their life. They've never been respected in their life. And so they're looking for love, and they're looking for respect in all the wrong places. And they express how they feel in often all the wrong ways. And they've never known authority to love and respect them, so they have the hardest time loving and respecting authority. And so what we learned was that the cause was going to come at a cost. Working with these kids was going to come at a cost. But we were so hungry for the cost, and we said, this cost, it is so, so worth it. I want to ask you today, in your job, in your creative mind, in your creative sphere, in your creative field, what have you been sitting on that you should have been doing a long time ago? But you were afraid to do it, or you didn't know if you had the money to do it, or you didn't know what other people would think if you did it. What are you waiting for that you know you should already be doing? What is stopping you from doing what you should already be doing? Maybe it's in your family. Maybe it's in your relationships with people. Because, man, we got to grow in all areas and in every platform of life that we stand on. Would you agree? We got to grow in every spot, in every space creatively. So what areas do you need to grow in? Something we also learned as we were growing was change. It would never happen by accident. Change would never happen by accident. We knew that we were going to have to really invest our time and our energy, and all the money we received from the community or whatever we were raising for was going to have to pour into these kids and the needs of these kids. So what we started doing was we started collaborating. We started working. We started coming up with ideas. I see some people in here from Creative Plains Art Foundation. They're amazing. John Fisher's in here. He used to run Charism. And we started hitting up these specific organizations and saying, how can we partner with you? We need kids to have healthy things to do after school. We need kids to have healthy things to do in the summer. We need kids to be provided with healthy male and female role models that can bless them and lead them through life. What can we do? And we started investing our time and our energy in those resources. The greatest source of change is the resources around you. That's where change starts. Change, like one person can be a spark, but it's the team that becomes a flame. And we didn't want to be a spark in our city. We wanted to be a flame in our city, a fire in our city. But to become that fire for youth, we had to partner with every person around us. We were not rivals with these people. We were teammates with these people. Now, get this. We have a nonprofit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we raise money. But I hope you give just as much money to Charism as you give to our nonprofit someday. I hope you give just as much money to Creative Plains Art Foundation, the F5 project, all these projects that are serving people, I hope you give to just like us. Because we are not rivals. If I'm just a spark, I'm going to make a small influence, but man, if we team up, we will be a flame that will change this community over 10, 20 years, I believe. And that's where change comes from. But it comes with a cost, and it will never happen by accident. Something that I learned a long time ago is you'll never catch what you're not chasing. A long time ago, I was in the inner city of Chicago. We were on a mission trip with my church. And we went into the south side of Chicago, and we would do these outreaches every day with kids, and we'd put on these events. We'd be rapping out there, freestyling. We'd be bouncy housing, and we'd be serving burgers. And there was a time I met a gentleman, and I spoke with him after an event, and he said, "Yo, can I talk to you?" I said, "Yeah, man, talk to me." He said, "I loved what you were talking about. I loved your message. I loved their message. It was great." But he was basically telling me about his drug addiction, and he was like, "Listen, I've been an addict for a long time, and I really want to do what you're saying," which was kind of cool because it was just him and I. There was no audience. It was him and I on this one block in inner city Chicago, and I was like, "Okay, man." And he's like, "But here's the problem. Every time I want to change, this guy keeps calling me to give me something that I know I want, but I don't want, but I want, and I'm stuck on it." He goes, "But I love what you guys were talking about. I love what you were saying." And what was crazy about that moment is you could look down the block and you could turn around and you could realize something. It was just him and I. No one else was coming for him. And what I've noticed about Fargo sometimes is, and problems in our city, is we talk about it and we have board meetings about it, and there's a lot of committees, which are great. But no one else is coming for the problems of this city but us. And no one else is coming for the problems of Chicago. And no one else is coming for the problems of New York. And no one else is coming for the problems of your family. No one else is coming but you. It was just him and I. And the only reason why we found him is because we were chasing people like him, that outreach event. And the only reason why we keep finding kids in our city is because we're chasing them. That's why we're catching them. They're not chasing us. We're chasing them, and we're finding them in the midst of brokenness, and we're finding them in the midst of pain, and we're saying, "Listen, man, there's a greatness inside of you, there's a purpose inside of you, and it's right in plain sight. I see it. Now, will you step into it and believe it?" But, man, the biggest thing I want to challenge you with is if you ever see a problem, just realize we're the only ones here to solve it. No one else will come. You can look out the door and you can wait for someone else to come. Something I love about F5 Project, my boy Leonard right here. What's up, dog? That's my homie right there. Something I love about F5 Project is they seek out people in prison. They chase them. And they say, "Listen, we got housing, we got sobriety, we got a way to get you on the right track. We got a way to restore your life, but we're going to keep chasing you, but you got to let us catch you." And if Leonard and his group didn't go to those prisons, no one else would go. You know, no one else is coming for them. It's the same with our kids in our city, the homeless in our city, the people in our city. No one else is coming. So we got to go. A lot of us might say, "Mike, this sounds interesting and it sounds good, but where do I start?" And I want to say this. Man, my slides are all messed up. Hold on. We're going to get there. I want to say this real quick. You already saw the slide, but bam. Start somewhere. When we first started as community trust officers, we were seriously just blank. There was no mission and there was no vision. It was literally like Matt and Mike, my buddy Matt Niemeyer. They're like, "You guys, go." And we're like, "Go where?" No one's ever done this before, right? So they're like, there was no blueprint. We didn't have a building plan to do this. But we said, okay, so we started seeking in the schools, the free and reduced lunch programs. We started connecting with the counselors, and we learned that Jefferson Elementary School had a lunch buddy program, it was called. And I've learned Ed Clapp has this, Lincoln has this. What that program consists of is they allow business professionals to come into the schools weekly, have lunch, and mentor a student throughout the whole school year. And it's usually a student who's in a one-parent home or a foster parent home, and they're looking for influence in their lives. This was my homeboy, man. This is my guy. He became like my son. I had to kick him off basketball teams before. I've coached him before when he got in trouble. I mean, we went through a lot, ups and downs. But his dad lived 3 hours away, and I only said to say this. No one else was coming for him, not even his dad. And I was like, man, if no one else is coming, I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? And changing your world, it's not changing everybody, but if you could find one person in one place, you can make a very big impact. Because he's going to have kids one day, and he's going to raise a family someday, and those kids will have kids. And every person we meet matters. Like, that's what we have to realize. Every person we speak to matters. And And so we just began to spend time together in the 4th grade, and then at 5th grade graduation, we started hanging out, and that was him. I was so proud of him. He had a bow tie on, but you can't see it. And I was just so, so proud of him. Then I got to know his little brother when he graduated. And then I learned about the Big Brother, Big Sister program. That's another incredible, man, donate to them. They're incredible. And I started becoming a big brother to his little brother, and we started kicking it, going to movies, going to Sky Zone, going to Thunder Row. We just became like bros. And for that season of life, I tried to give all I could. Let me tell you something. Give all you can with the time you have now. Time is more valuable than money. Time is the greatest resource we have to give to people. And let me tell you something. All of you are probably smarter than me. I'm being real. I'm a passionate guy. I'm not dumb by any means, but I bet you there's some freaking smart people in the house who could freaking do something incredible in this city if they had the guts to do it and the risk to take it. Just be willing to take the risk with whatever your field is, whatever your position is, whatever your title is. Get risky, man. You know what I'm saying? Stop thinking simple and start thinking outside your box. As we continue to grow, we evolved, and Officer Matt Niemeyer, he's the amazing gentleman right there in the shirt, he came up with this idea that we need to have a summer camp for all the boys we've been working with in the Charism area, in the Jefferson neighborhood. And when we first started, when I say start somewhere, this was the worst camp ever in my opinion. It was like MMA. There was more blood, more black eyes, unconscious kids. That sounds bad. Boom, knockout. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, like we're going to get in trouble with the law or something. We are the law, but it's getting wild in this camp. Literally, it was like MMA. But over time, we began to adapt and we began to grow. And Officer Niemeyer, he is so innovative, creative, and he never quits on kids. That's what I love about Niemeyer. He never quits on kids. Even when kids would quit on Niemeyer, Niemeyer would never quit on kids. And he would keep loving them, and we would just keep showing up. And Charism was a big backbone for us, and Jefferson Elementary was providing volunteers and mentors for us. This camp now, in the last 3 years, has adapted into this machine where Officer Niemeyer partners with Ed Clapp Elementary's behavior health interventionist, Jefferson's behavior health interventionist or behavior specialist. Man, they go to TNT Fitness weekly. They do swimming lessons. They do visits to Microsoft and the DigiGirl stuff and all that. I mean, they're just mentoring kids and pouring into at least 20 youth in our city. We got a bus from Matt Bus, so we're picking them all up and shipping them around town. It's incredible. But we realized we had to start somewhere, right? And when things got really bad, we couldn't quit. Man, I think we're so afraid of failure that when failure happens, that's all we focus on. Just because something failed doesn't mean you're a failure. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because something failed doesn't mean you're a failure. If something fails, it means you're kind of awesome and you tried something probably pretty risky and you should probably keep trying it because no one else was willing to do it. That's what you need to think about with failure or something when you strike out. And man, we just kept grinding and we kept trying and we kept moving forward. We then grew and we grew into our Fargo United Park events, and we said, okay, we want to identify areas in our city. Where's the most poverty? That's what we wanted to find. Where is the most poverty? So we started identifying those sectors, and we started hosting these outreach events called Fargo United. And we started getting up on the stage, and we were rapping, and we were giving out bicycles because we were partnering with awesome organizations like Walmart in our city and groups like that, Target, and they were blessing us with things, and we would give those things to kids, and we were feeding them, and cash-wise, it's like, here, we can't maybe be at your event, but here's 400 hot dogs. So we make 400 hot dogs for the kids of that community, and we just give them out. It was the greatest way to connect with kids. This is at Willow Park. And something I love about Willow Park is there's a huge Somali community in Willow Park out west by Starbucks. And this year when we did this particular event, the police were out there doing the Cupid Shuffle. And we were Cupid Shuffling with about 200 people from Somalia or the Somali community. And it was incredible. It was like, this is unity. This is what we want. This is what we're working for. Are we doing the Cupid Shuffle? Yes. Is it awkward for me? Yes, a little bit. But we're doing it because the person next to me might be from a country where law enforcement was terrible to them, and now they're comfortable enough to dance by my side in this park. It was weird. It was risky, but it worked. You know what I'm saying? It worked. And then we started doing these music videos, man. And I'm not the greatest rapper. I'll tell you that much. I'm not the greatest writer. I'm not the greatest rapper. But one thing I learned about our broken kids, they relate to sports and they relate to music. And if you really want to reach people in any audience, go to their table and don't wait for them to come to yours. You see, everyone sits at a certain table. And if you learn how to sit at their table and listen at their table and learn their language, you can get through anybody. You can get through to anybody. I've connected with inmates in the jail. I've connected with kids on the street. But I didn't connect with them because I'm something special. I was just willing to go to their table. And I'm telling you, take your talk to their table. Take your gifts to their table. Take your talents to their table. And so we started rapping, and we said, hey, man, do you want to be a star? Yes, I do, Officer Bloom. Okay, we're going to put you in this music video. And we started taking kids, and we started putting them in videos, and we've been doing those for 2 years now. What's funny is adults, I didn't think they like it, man. You go to like a business and like, you know, hey, do you want to be in a video? Yes, I do. You know, it's like, okay, Blue Cross Blue Shield. I remember I went to Blue Cross. They were like, yes, I'll be in the video. It was fun. And now it's adapted to this year. We're looking at bringing a couple high school students in, and we're going to have them rap on the video with us, and we're looking to have a young female come in and sing on the video with us. And we're like, we just want to promote your gifts. We just want to edify. We just want to push your gifts out in the community. And it has built more trust and more relationships with these kids that I didn't think was possible. Something I want to encourage you with this, or encourage you with, is this too, before we're about to close here, is get connected to your cause. Because you'll rarely begin to innovate and create what you're not connected to. The reason why we do stuff so orthodox as police is because when we got connected to these kids, this is what they love. Our youth audience loves sports, so we connect them with after-school programs with sports. Our youth program loves music, so we connect them with hip-hop, rap, and all that fun stuff. And now we learn, Christine Jaggers here from CreativeMornings, you're the bomb. We know that youth loves art, so we connect youth with art, and we've been taking kids to CreativeMornings to do art projects, man. It's been incredible. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to sit at their table, connect with them, and from the connection, we then innovate. And now we've been doing these school assemblies. This year, we're having the pleasure to connect with West Fargo PD. So we're going to be doing 13 school assemblies this fall in the private schools and all the public middle schools and high schools in Fargo and West Fargo. And we're like, we want to take this message of influence to our city, to our kids, and to our community. And so this is kind of a message or a assemblies set we did last year.
Up with this idea of Fargo United. The country was at a very bad place between law enforcement and community members, and we thought, hey, let's use music, let's use food, let's use engagement and love to go into our city and get ahead of any issue that could spark in the future. We were able to connect and create love in our community like we haven't seen between law enforcement and citizens. And last year we thought, man, if we can do this in our parks, why not bring it to the future of our city, our youth?
How you doing, Lord?
Let's go. Yo, it's time to come together, unity, cause I'm getting all races and nation in the city combined. Love is the sign, it's time to shine. One nation, one giver, one voice, one color, one mind. Now it's time for mankind to be defined. Let's fall in line, pay attention to each line. Everyone matters, no one's gonna be left behind. Put your 2 cents in, pay someone's a mind. Let's help each other, we have to do this together. For it to get better, we have to make change to change the weather. It's time to get up, so get up and put your head up. The song is set up, so love will never let up. That's why Bloom and I met up. We got fed up with all the drama, let's do something to make things better. We became a trendsetter, did it by the letter of love. Love brings us all together.
So I'm Chris Singleton. I'm a professional baseball player as well as an inspirational speaker. And I speak on love. And the reason why I do that is because my mom was murdered in 2015 by a man that was racist and killed 9 people in the church because of the color of their skin. So I've been grateful enough to have the opportunity to speak at different schools in different places, really trying to bring people together with forgiveness and bring different communities. And it's awesome that I get to share my message of love and share that with different schools up here in Fargo.
Serving men and the love is so real. Nurses in blue, helping people like me and you. Cops serving kids, man, kids really working through to become the truth. that they were destined to be. They have deposits of greatness, and that should come from you and me. And I continue to see many companies stepping up to serve people who are hurt, people in need. Non-profits holding outreaches to our city streets. Senator Highcamp spending time with kids, helping them believe. Governor Bergman, First Lady Catherine setting people free from the stigma of addiction, man, and helping us see we gotta be united for others to be free. The change can only come if it comes from you and me.
But you have a voice and you have a choice in this place and in this school to change lives. You feel me? Say, I feel you, Officer Bloom. Say it with a little more swagger. I feel you, Officer Bloom. No voters gonna change bullying in this school. Only you gonna change it. You feel me? It's only in this school, in this place, at the table you sit at, or the door you choose to hold, or leave closer with somebody. You're the only person that has the power to change your school. But why can't we just love everybody at every time, in every place, on every block that we rock? And hate me, I'm still gonna love you, because love is the only thing that's gonna change the world. Love is the only thing that will overcome obstacles, overcome hate, overcome brokenness, overcome racism, overcome bullying, everything, bro. You feel me? We can go outside of your school and do all we want in the community. But the only people that are going to influence the school, impact the school, is you.
And so that's what our school assemblies adapted into. Now I'm sweating up here like I'm doing CrossFit. That's what they adapted into. And this year we're going in to attack the issues that youth are facing in the mind. And we're going to talk about mental health and emotional health. We're going to talk about building relationships with others and how to communicate. Hey, if I'm struggling, I can speak up and be comfortable about speaking up. This is what depression is. This is what anxiety is. This is why you're posting. Why even posting selfies? I mean, I want to address that with kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, love yourself enough to not have to be liked by everybody on a click. Like, we just want to encourage youth with that message. And so we're going to keep doing that. And I just want to close with this. This is something I felt like I just wanted to say was, you can't be committed to comfort if you desire to be a part of change. And that's what I want to leave you with, man. If you're committed to comfort, you'll never be a part of change. Being a police officer and going in front of kids all the time or people on stages, like for real, when people in the community are like, you should rap, I'm like, no, I don't want to rap. It's awkward sometimes and it's uncomfortable sometimes. I'm just being real, you know what I mean? But if you're committed to comfort, you'll never see the change that you desire to sow and see in your community. So thank you for having me. This was one of the best things I've ever done. It was great, and glad I could have been here, so thanks.